close. The Washington Post has reported that 4 women allege that Roy Moore pursued relationships with them when they were teenagers and Moore was an adult man in his 30s. Moore has denied the allegations. Watch at Montgomery, Ala, a day after reports surfaced that a then 32-year-old Roy Moore had pursued and initiated UAL contact with a 14-year-old girl in 1979. The National Republican establishment is taking careful public steps to put distance between themselves and the Alabama U.S. Senate candidate. In Washington, several senators suggested Moore should withdraw from the race. The National Republican Senatorial Committee pulled out of a fundraising committee, the Washington Post reported, with 4 weeks of campaigning left to go. On Friday evening, 2 Senate Republicans rescinded their endorsements of Moore's candidacy. But within state borders, the report was met with a mix of trepidation, skepticism and outright dismissal. "I got more calls yesterday for Roy Moore signs than I have since the primary," Calhoun County Republican Party Chairman James Bennett told the Montgomery Advertiser on Friday. "I think their Moore supporters are very skeptical of the reporting 4 weeks before the election. They're going to withhold their judgment, but they're not going to withhold a vote." More Roy Moore: "I have never engaged in UAL misconduct." More NRSC withdraws support from Roy Moore's Senate campaign. A woman says Roy Moore had UAL contact with her when she was 14. Bennett said GOP voters in the state are deeply skeptical of anything they read nowadays. "I think it's going to affect the turnout. I think the turnout is going to be larger for Roy Moore," Bennett said. "He's the only Republican candidate, and we support him," said a woman who answered a telephone number listed for Judge Jerry Mobley, Winston County Republican Party chairman. She said Mobley would not comment further. Moore and his campaign vehemently denied the Washington Post story that alleged Moore initiated UAL contact with 14-year-old Lee Kaufman. "I got more calls yesterday for Roy Moore signs than I have since the primary." James Bennett, Calhoun County Republican Party chairman. UAL contact did not include intercourse but was illegal under state law. 3 other women alleged Moore pursued romantic relationships with them while they were between the ages of 16 and 18. Moore's camp first released a statement via campaign chairman Bill Armistead calling the allegations the very definition of fake news and intentional defamation. Moore later took to Twitter and said he was in the midst of a spiritual battle with his opponents. "The forces of evil will lie, cheat, steal, even inflict physical harm, if they believe it will silence and shut up Christian conservatives like you and me," Moore said. Moore's use of evangelical imagery is consistent in both his personal and political life. He rose to national prominence because of a Ten Commandments display and regularly stumps as a scriptural firebrand. Wayne Flint, professor emeritus at Auburn University and a historian of Alabama faith and culture, said he doesn't believe the allegations of UAL misconduct will be a disqualifier for Moore at the polls among his base of conservative evangelicals. "White evangelical churches basically baptize Southern political culture," Flint said. "I think people who have left the Southern church can't distinguish between a Republican precinct headquarters or a local church. It's not his Christian moral compass that they're voting for, it's that helps not a Democrat." It has been a turbulent few years for Alabama GOP politicians, with former Governor Robert Bentley ousted by a scandal and former Speaker of the House Mike Hubbard's conviction on felony ethics charges. Flint says he has seen a significant shift in the state from emphasis placed on personal behavior and morality to tentpole social issues that fall along strict party lines. "What we've done is reduce social morality to 2 issues. It's not a matter of moral character," Flint said. "We fixate on 1 or 2 signposts where we can say, we don't have abortions and are appalled by same marriage." Bennett said if the allegations are true, he believes Alabama voters will support whatever decision the state party decides to make. State Auditor Jim Ziegler called the allegations much ado about very little even if true. But Bennett doesn't expect any information to come out that will satisfy voters before the December 12th election. "I don't think we're going to get the proof in 4 weeks," Bennett said. "I think they voters are trying to get the facts they trust, and that's not going to come from a source in the Northeast." Reader, share this story. https://usa.li2atsboob